Good morning, everyone. Jai Shri Krishna. Today I will start with chapter 2 of Bhagwad Gita, which is called Sankya Yoga, means the yoga of analytical knowledge. I will give brief information of Sankya Yoga and recite verses 1 to 15 from it. Arjuna reiterates his utter inability to cope with the situation and refuses to perform his duty in the impending the battle. He then formally asks Sri Krishna to be his spiritual teacher and beseeches him for guidance on the proper path of action in the situation he finds himself in. The Supreme Lord begins imparting him the divine knowledge by teaching him about the immortal nature of the self, which is not destroyed when the body is destroyed. Sri Krishna then explains about social responsibilities and reminds Arjuna of his duty as a warrior, which is to fight for upholding righteousness. Having motivated Arjuna from the mundane level, Sri Krishna moves deeper into the science of work. He asks Arjuna to work without attachment to the fruits of his actions. He terms the science of working without desire for rewards as Buddhi Yoga or Yoga of the intellect. Sri Krishna also gives a detailed explanation of how the afflictions of the mind, lust, anger, greed, etc. develop and how they may be destroyed. Sankya Yoga verses 1 to 15. Sanjaya Uvacha Tam tatha krupaya apurna kulekshanam Vishidantimidam vakyam Uvacha Madhusudanaha. Sri Bhagwan Uvacha Kutasva Kashmalamindam Visame Samupasthitam Anaryajustam Swargayam Akirtamar Marjuna Klevyam Masma Gamaha Partha Netavya Yuttapadyate Shudram Radayadorpalyam Tyaktyo Sthita Parantapa. Arjuna Uvacha Katham Bhismamah Sankhedronam Cha Madhusudana Ishubhihi Pratyosyami Puja Harisudanaha Guru Nahatva ki hi Mahanubhava Shreyo Bhoktu Vaima Pita Loke Hatvartha Kamatsu Guru Nihaiva Bhujaya Bhogan Rudira Pradiktan Nachaita Dvidaha Kataranno Gariyo Yatta Jayema Yadivano Jayuyuhu Yaneva Hatvana Jijivisham Stevastita Pramukhe Dhartarashtraha Karpanya Doshopahat Swabhavaha Pruchami Tvam Dharma Sambhu Cheta Yacheyah Syannishrita Bruhi Tanme Shishyate Steha Ham Sadhi Mam Tvam Prapannama. Sanjaya Uvacha Eva Mukta Rishikesham Gudakesha Parantapa Nayoshya iti Govinda Mukta Trushlim Bhavutaha Tamuvacha Rishikeshaha Prahasniva Bharata Senayorubayormatye Vididantamidam Vachaha Ashochananto Chasva Pragnadvasham Bhasase Gatasuna Gatasunda Nano Shosanti Padintaha Na Tvetam Jatsunasam Na Tvam Neme Janadipa Na Chaiva Na Bhavishyamaha Sarve Dayamataha Parama Dehi no Amin Smin Yatha देहे कोमरं यौवनं जरा तथा देहान्तरप्राप्ति धीरस्तत मम्युह्यति मात्रा स्पर्शा तु कौन्तेय क्षीणोश्च सुखदुः खदाः आगामापायिनो अनित्या स्वसन्ति तिक्षव भारत यं हि न व्यथयन्ते पुरुषं पुरुषभः सन्मुदसुखं धीरं सोऽमृतत्वाय कल्पते. Which means, Sanjay said, seeing Arjun overwhelmed with pity, his mind grief-stricken and his eyes full of tears, Sri Krishna spoke the following words. The Supreme Lord said, "My dear Arjun, how has the delusion overcome you in his hour of peril? It is not befitting an honorable person. It leads not to the higher abodes but to disgrace. O Partha, it does not befit you to yield to this unmanliness. Give up such petty weakness of heart and arise, O vanquisher of enemies." Arjuna said, "O Madhusudana, how can I shoot arrows in the battle on a man like Bhishma and Dronacharya, who are the worthy of my worship, O destroyer of enemies? It would be better to live in this world by begging than to enjoy life by killing these noble elders who are my teachers. If we kill them, the wealth and pleasures we enjoy will be tainted with blood. We do not even know which result of this war is preferable for us, conquering them or being conquered by them. Even after killing them, we will not desire to live. Yet they have taken the side of Dhritarashtra and they now stand before us on the battlefield. I am confused about my duty and am besieged with anxiety and faint-heartedness. I am your disciple and am surrendered to you. Please instruct me for certain what is best for me. I can find no means of driving away this anguish that is drying up my senses. Even if I win a prosperous and unraveled kingdom on the earth or gain a sovereignty like the celestial gods, I will be unable to dispel this grief." Sanjaya said, "Having thus spoken, Gudakesh, that chastitor of enemies, addressed Rishikesha, Govinda, I shall not fight, and became silent." O Dhritarashtra, thereafter, in the midst of both the armies, Sri Krishna smilingly spoke the following words to the grief-stricken Arjuna. The Supreme Lord said, "While you speak the words of wisdom, you are mourning for that which is not worthy of grief. The wise lament neither for the living nor for the dead. Never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all these kings, nor in the future shall any of us cease to be. Just as embodied soul continuously passes from childhood to youth to old age, similarly at the time of death, the soul passes into another body. The wise are not deluded by this. O son of Kunti, the contact between the senses and the sense objects gives rise to fleeting perceptions of happiness and distress. These are non-permanent and come and go like the winter and summer seasons. O descendant of Bharata, one must learn to tolerate them without being disturbed. O Arjuna, noblest amongst men, that person who is not affected by happiness and distress, and remains steady in both, becomes eligible for liberation. इति श्री भगवद गीता सांख्य योग अध्याय 15 श्लोकं सम्पूर्णम्. नमस्ते.